Flash Professional ist nach wie vor ein großes, viel diskutiertes und teilweise auch zu Unrecht gescholtenes Thema in Sachen Web und Animation, findet auch hier auf der Adobe MAX viel statt. Wir haben jetzt extra für euch Experten und Speaker Joseph Labrecque vor die Kamera geholt, um hier mal eine Standortbestimmung abzugeben. Viel Spaß!
I think that people do still have the wrong perception of Flash Professional as something that, can only output to one format. And it's just not true because Flash Professional has been engineered to be able to be sort of platform agnostic. So built in, you're able to still output to Flash Player. You can output to Air for desktop, Air for iOS, Air for Android. But you can also now output natively to HTML5 Canvas and WebGL. And with the addition of custom platform SDK options, you can output to things like animated SVG, and really the sky is the limit. If you want to output to a specific platform, you can. And the great thing about that is that the workflow remains the same, the tooling remains the same, everything's still encapsulated in an FLA file, and you still edit all of your code, whether it's ActionScript or JavaScript, within the Actions editor inside of Flash Professional. Who would be the target audience for Flash Professional these days? I think it, as always, is pretty varied. There are certainly, in terms of new features and enhancements in the upcoming version of Flash Professional, a lot of tools specifically for designers and for creative people to do, things that just weren't possible inside of Flash Professional before. Taking, for instance, vector art brushes inside of Flash Professional. It's a major new thing, and it's specifically for further creativity within the application. So I definitely think that creative types, designers, and illustrators and so forth should take another look at Flash Professional if they haven't in a while, or if they never have, and just see exactly what it can do and how simple it is to produce any sort of content, whether it's assets, animation, interactions, whatever, using Flash Professional and just making decisions around what you want to output it to. If somebody came to me with the thought that Flash Professional was not an appropriate technology for what they were doing, or if they thought Adobe was abandoning Flash Professional, all you have to do is look at the feature set in the new upcoming version of Flash Professional, because it has probably about 4 times the features that any release of Flash Professional has had in the past 2 or 3 years. It's a massive release, and I think it really is a game changer because you're able to do so much more within Flash Professional, and it also reaches out and expands across applications, even onto the different mobile apps that Adobe has for Android and iOS. You can bring in your colors, your shapes, your brushes, all of that stuff from your CC libraries, from those mobile apps, those different workflows, bring them all into Flash Professional and breathe life into them. And I think that's really valuable. People saying that, Flash content doesn't run on iOS, so iPhones, iPads, and the rest, that actually hasn't been true for probably about 4 years, and with the new options that we have now to publish to HTML5 Canvas and WebGL, both of those formats will play within the iOS web browser, the Android web browser, desktop web browsers, and so forth. In terms of applications, Flash Professional you can still use for application development and to output to iOS as a native application, just like you can with Android, just like for a desktop app. So you've got a ton of different choices, and iOS is a very strong choice because of the reach of different platforms that target that. Canvas is actually a DOM element inside of HTML5, and the way that Flash Professional works with Canvas is it uses it as a drawing and interactivity space, leveraging the Create.js libraries. Create.js is something that was created specifically for people who were doing things with Flash Professional, or who at one time were and were comfortable with that sort of syntax. Flash Professional leverages that to be able to target native browser technologies. And really just any browser is able to leverage Canvas at this point, as long as it's something that was created in the last 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years. Canvas is pretty stable. In terms of WebGL also uses the Canvas element. However, it's GPU accelerated, and it uses a particular runtime that Adobe has built in order to do this. Additionally, WebGL support, while not as prevalent as Canvas, is definitely growing, and it's even supported on iOS now, a place where many people thought we would never see WebGL support. Yeah, so what's the advantage of using Flash Professional to create content rather than other animation, asset, and interactivity creative tooling? So I would say that the tool set inside of Flash Professional is expansive, it's time tested, and it's fun to use. The workflows within Flash Professional are excellent. Again, time tested, they're fun to use, and they're ever expansive. So you can actually create content targeting ActionScript 3 in an FLA, and you can convert that to a Canvas-based FLA. You can convert the whole thing to WebGL-based FLA, or you can simply copy content across types. You can also copy entire layers and paste them across document types. The entire authoring environment, the creative space, is the same no matter what you're targeting. And the amount of different targets that can be produced through Flash Professional is huge right now, and it can only grow with the addition of the custom platform SDK. So if somebody wants to target something else, they can easily use the creative SDK to be able to do that. Yeah, so long story short, Flash Professional isn't tied to a single platform anymore. It's sort of reimagined itself as this highly creative and efficient tool set to build in animation and interactivity for a variety of different platforms, not just one.